Nazi yesterday. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, here.
Of course, I had been doing cocaine around this time. At someone's country house during a shooting weekend. I'd been offered a line and I'd done a few more cents.
So this guy is firing a weapon on cocaine. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Wooten Tombauer, any drugs in your system while you're shooting a weapon is a federal offense in which you are automatically going to prison. You know, I'm licensed to conceal carry. I don't know that I should tell you how many weapons I own. I've met men that I own more weapons than. And I don't even know if I should tell you. I'm the daughter of a Marine. And many of them are antique and worth a lot of money, too. That's beside the point. I do have a license to conceal carry. I have been trained and I have been made very aware of what these laws are. If you have anything in your system, I don't care if you're hunting, it doesn't matter if you're hunting. He's out firing a weapon on blow, probably drinking, probably smoking dope. And he's going out shooting? Fired up on toot? I mean, that does stay in your system for a time, doesn't it? All these drugs do. If you had a blood test, you see what I'm saying? That's prison. That's just not the local jail where Megan can come in, or Doria can come and bail you out. Does that make sense? So, Dan Wooten, could you please explore that? And I hope to fuck somehow this makes it to the GB News desk. All right, continuing.
Since it wasn't much fun, and it didn't make me particularly happy.
Oh, bullshit.
As it seemed to make everyone around me, but it did make me feel different. And that was the main goal. Feel different.
That's Meghan Markle.
But those claims could now land the runaway royal in hot water in the US. Conservative think tank The Heritage Foundation is demanding Harry's visa application be released to the public so they can discover if the Duke of Dope
Haven't I asked for that for a hell of... He's got the Heritage Foundation after him? People would question their affiliation. Here's Fatty. Not that I am so bloated today, you guys. You wouldn't even believe it. I am retaining so much water weight. All right, let's go back. But not oh my God.
declared his drug use before entry into the country. If Harry is found to have lied on his visa form, then he could face...
Who the fuck would say I do coke and smoke dope and do mushrooms on a visa?
Deportation from America and be barred from applying for citizenship in the future.
Again, it's not only that, it's you're using a weapon, a firearm, and admitting to on tape in your voice that you're okay. I said it.
Well, top royal biographer Tom Bauer joins me now. So, Tom, has Harry just shot himself in the foot?
Well, I think so. I mean, one hopes so in a way, because it'll really discomfort him. I mean, the Heritage Foundation is a really serious right-wing group, but they're...
Okay. What is with you people over in Great Britain? A serious white right-wing group? So, if you don't mind, Tom, could you please refer to the ADL as a serious left-wing extremist group? Because I believe the ADL is a terrorist organization. So you're calling the Heritage Foundation extreme right-wing? Oh my God, no, it's not. It's a conservative, family-oriented. It's actually quite out of vogue right now. But let's continue.
A 7-page submission to the government lists all the reasons why the government must instantly release Harry's visa applications and the rest. And of course, his problem really is that he's got a title which again counts against him in America. But having boasted so much about taking all these drugs, and having boasted that he also shot the Taliban, 25 of them, and then his extraordinary admission of his inconsequential therapy and all the rest of it, we're dealing really at the moment with Harry, I think, looking pretty sad, even sadder than ever before. I think really what is really troubling for me is that his father, King Charles, could even consider wanting Harry to come to the coronation. Here is a man now under investigation in America for having been a serious drug abuser and user.
Well, can we please have some drug tests? Perhaps bi-weekly? Or are they, most of these people end up getting their scripts, their drugs prescribed to them for various therapeutic uses.
A man who admits he needs therapy all the time, a man who is abusing his title all the time, who's capitalizing on his family's misfortunes. And I think what King Charles's problem now is that many people in Britain will think he's in charge of a madhouse.
Yeah.
You've got Andrew on one side, Harry on another side. Where is the sanity in the House of Windsor? And that is the real problem, is he's very close now to the coronation. And I think respect will fast drain away from the king if he lets Harry get anywhere near Westminster Abbey.
Well, of course, because these campaigners obviously looking at his visa and we don't know where that will lead. The strange thing is, though, Tom, when it comes to the coronation, still we get all of these polite noises from the House of Windsor. Even suggestions that maybe Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet should get a role.
Well, you're just playing around now because they don't exist. Oh, I would love it. I want them to have a role. I want her to be. That 2-year-old kid doesn't know what. She's not even 2 years old. How the hell could she have a role? Bring her in the church. It's never going to happen. There'll be a bunch of black and white, weird, Photoshoppy shit coming from wherever they're staying. I can guarantee it.
In the coronation. What do you make of this?
Well, I just think it is all a reflection of King Charles's indecision. He cannot decide what to do. He wants both a modern ceremony and he wants the ancient rituals. He wants something that appeals to the public and especially to the young who are not real royalists and the diversified community who may be now aggressive.
The problem with that is if they're still anti-monarchy, if Charles, it doesn't matter the kind of ceremony he has, they're still going to be anti-monarchy. This is the typical mistake people make when thinking that, let me word this carefully. Say, for example, if a more conservative candidate is running, he thinks that if he maybe backs down on a left-leaning issue, that'll gain him popularity with the left. When it never will. Get it? Like DACA is one of them. The people that hate you are still going to hate you, and the people that love you and your base is going to be pissed off. So in Charles' case, he can't piss off his base because his base is dwindling.
Against him because of all the racism allegations. So I think what you're seeing really is confusion and mess. And this is a ceremony that's been going on for 1,000 years. What on earth is he playing at? And the Heritage Foundation, in my mind, this investigation of Harry's visa, the conditions in which he was let into America, the supervision he may need to be under, just reflects King Charles's problem. How on earth can he put the interest of himself as a father and how Harry behaves above the institution of the monarchy and the country?
He can't. But you're seeing, Tom Bauer, the same thing happening with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. So I guess the world is all the shit, isn't it? Let's continue.
I think we discussed this last week. It's not getting any better. No. Because the leaks about his children having a role, when he hasn't even said that he's going to come to England.
He hasn't even said if they exist, but that's cool.
For the coronation, seems to me just showing utter confusion in Buckingham Palace at the moment.
Indeed. Now look, Tom, talking about another big figure who you have written on, of course, your widely acclaimed biography of Boris Johnson was called The Gambler. You might argue that tomorrow's Privileges Committee will be the biggest backgamble of his political career because it may determine whether he ever returns to number 10 gun.
Okay, and as I said in my video yesterday, isn't it bizarre how the same thing is happening? You know, and I think the word conservative and right-wing, and I think it has different meanings for the country. When I say conservative, I mean I'm pro-American. I'm not pro-open borders. I'm not pro-fuck the Constitution. I'm a constitutional nationalist woman. Does that make me a Nazi? So if this is about Boris and trying to be true to what I said, somebody accused the U.S. of strictly reporting on GB News or on Great Britain News or UK News, and all of our news reports are telling the Great Britain what to do. I don't watch mainstream media. I stopped watching in 2012. But we have so much shit going on in this damn country right now that I don't think anybody even knows what the letters MP stand for. Or maybe Prime Minister. If I can find some millennial to do an interview with, I would just love to. Okay, let's go. If this is all about, I'm not going to listen to
Downing Street. Now, you obviously closely followed the man for some time. Do you think he's going to thrive under this pressure or collapse?
Well, I think he'll thrive because he loves the battle. I read very carefully his 52-page submission. Of course, it's very impressive and it does demolish to some extent the committee's credibility. No doubt about that. On the other hand, we haven't heard what the other questions are going to be. And if he makes a mistake tomorrow, they'll have him for garters. They'll eat him up. So can he maintain his cool and rational thought without wandering off? It is a battle for his life. It is a battle for his reputation. But to be honest, he brought it on himself. But on the other hand, I did sympathise with him when he says, number 10 was a hothouse, we were working close together, the official photographer was at these so-called illegal parties. His mistake was to deny anything to the House of Commons. He should have said, I'm thinking about it, I'm not sure, we'll have to look at it. He was just so cavalier, and that is where, it's like the same with Chris Pincher, when he denied that.
Like I said, I don't want to, you know what? Because guess what? I've been following Boris Johnson since 2011. And he was doing these speeches on, man, I don't think I can find them on YouTube anymore. On Winston Churchill, on, again, I hate using the word conservative, on political speeches, speaking of, oh, I know, I was following him when he was mayor of London. And when the Olympic, when that stooge Obama was up against Boris to get the Olympiad, stupid Obama wanted it in Chicago, and Boris went to bat for Great Britain and London and got it in London. And that was magnificent because Obama is a fuck-right fool. A damn fuck fool. And, it would have been good for the economy here because, we're so close to Chicago that it would have, people would have stayed here. Oh, people from Chicago love Milwaukee. They just think it's so cute until they got robbed. And until they think they're in an Uber and all of a sudden they're in the middle of the hood and they're drunk and somebody tells them to get out of the car and points a gun at them and tells to give them the wallet and they take off, which I know has happened a lot. People are too silly and they're too trusting. So that's when I started following him. I thought he was, I love the way he speaks and his politics I'm leery of because of the whole Ukraine shit. So, because I'm totally against that. So is there anything else here? Okay.
I didn't think the lie about Chris Fincher.
It was very well put together.
He looks really worn out. Maybe he's not feeling well. Oh, and I believe they tried to take him out, too. Boris.
Top-rate lawyers going through it with him. But he's got to, in the end, turn it against Harriet Harman and Bernard Jenkins.
He could face deportation from America and be barred from applying for citizenship in the future. Well, top royal biographer Tom Bauer joins me now. So,
listen to this idiot.
Different. And that was the main goal.
Did they use like a CG, like a sort of a CGI voice? How did they get him to sound so? And that was the main goal. I wanted to be different. Prince Harry, you never gave me that impression before. And by the way, weren't you photographed in a Nazi uniform for a costume party? Okay, so I hope you found what I presented here informative and enjoyed it. And thank you, and keep the questions coming. Sorry. All right, enjoy.